Namaste everyone. So you can start again. I'll do that only. Yeah. Mahesh Bhaiya, am I audible?
जी भैया ऑडिबल
जी भैया ऑडिबल
जी, ठीक है. I'll do from here. This screen is visible, so you can turn the camera. है ना? अच्छा, okay, fine. Okay, but the slide is also being shared, no? So no need for this. The slide is being shared. So one could be like here and the other could be like there. हाँ. इस पे slide पे दिखाने की जरूरत नहीं है. Okay, so do we start? Yes, nice. So this is the evolution that we are trying for. This is the evolution that we are trying for. So going from animal consciousness to human consciousness, and that is essentially reaching the full human potential. So self-exploration, self-awareness, self-evaluation, leading to self-evolution. Self-evolution, isn't it? And this is the process. So living with right understanding, guiding the lower activities of the self, awakening to the higher activities of the self, thus awakening to the activities of contemplation and realization. The mic is working. Eh? Acha, from there. Okay. Mahesh Bhaiya, you can mute yourself. So this is the process of evolution, and this is the state that we want to be in. So presently, it may be the case that our development is only up to the level of imagination, right? Now we are trying to explore, we are trying to see the relationship, we are trying to see the harmony, we are trying to see the coexistence so that our higher level activities get developed. And this is reaching the full human potential. So going through this process of exploration, awareness, and evaluation, I can come to a state when I'm able to see the whole existence as coexistence. That is the whole nature submerged in space. This is realization. When I am active at the level of realization, then it is guiding the authentication. So what I come to realize within gets authenticated first in my own activities by ensuring harmony and order in my own activities. Then this is developing the understanding in completeness so that I can see the harmony in the nature in completeness, which is ensure the state of bliss in me. Now, when I have this complete understanding of harmony in the nature within me, then it guides my determination, a natural decision in me to live accordingly, isn't it? So that I can be self-determined to live in accordance with understanding of harmony in the nature. This completes my contemplation. This completes my contemplation of relationship of participation in the larger order, right? And when this gets completed, then completely the imagination is guided by right understanding. So my imaging, comparing, analyzing, testing, selecting is fully guided by right understanding. And then my behavior every time is in terms of mutual happiness as a foundation of undivided society. My expression in terms of work and participation is always in terms of mutual prosperity and fulfillment of human goal, leading to undivided society, universal human order, leading to human tradition. So we can all see that at one end I have to work for realization within, and at the other end we have to work for expression outside. So the more I'm able to work for right understanding, I'm more naturally able to participate in the larger order. And the more I try to participate in the larger order, I'm able to ensure the right understanding in me, right? So my living as well as my understanding within. Is this part clear? Any question here regarding any word that is listed here, which is not clear? So as it was being discussed, that presently it may be the case that I'm only expecting happiness from outside by some favorable feeling of others or by some sensation from outside. Let others appreciate me, let others praise me, let others pay attention to me, right? Or let me get some favorable sensation from the eyes, from the tongue, from the skin, from the nose, from the ears. This could be our motivation for happiness presently. Now, if you look at the current trends in the civilization, you can see that most of the things that are getting uh, like trendy in the market are to do with the expectation. Some movies, some songs, something to eat, something to smell. All those things are catching the market. Why? Because people are mostly motivated at the level of expectation. But gradually, as we develop further and further, we are able to see our role in the society, in the family. We are able to understand other units in the nature, and we are able to see how I am there, submerged in space. So, with that realization of submergence of myself and the entire nature in space, I am naturally happy every moment. I can see the source of happiness completely inside. That very realization ensures harmony in me, in completeness, in continuity. So, this is developing to the full human potential. This is fine. Basically, initially, when we are going towards realization, we are going from B2 to B1. When we are moving towards realization, working for right understanding. When I'm working with right understanding, then I'm going from realization to selection. So one state could be like towards realization. The other state could be with realization. Now, in this process, to whatever extent I develop, the lower activities would be guided. So, for example, if I'm able to contemplate upon trust in me, my imaging of every relationship will be based on that feeling of trust. My thought would feel based on feeling of trust. My selection would be based on feeling of trust. So my behavior will be guided by the feeling of trust. But only that I have able to contemplate trust, but not love. So I'm not able to see the relationship with all. It may be the case, right? So I may find problems in fulfilling relationships with so many people. Take a mic.
After attaining realization, then everything is going to start guiding. All the lower activity will be guided with the realization. But then we are now starting at the expectation and going level by level, thought, desire level, and getting into the sanskar and understanding. Some people are trying directly. If Bhaiya, listen or
Yes,
not?
I'm listening.
Okay, okay.
I'm not sleeping.
I thought you got into Vipassana.
No.
I was just asking, in that case, we are now from the lower level to the higher level, the focus is. But people are directly working on the realization without going through all these levels. Say that Buddha got realized under the. Directly, there is there any process directly getting into that realization? This is one way. But ultimately, we have to attain that realization.
Yeah, so basically it is only a matter of observation. From where I'm observing.
Where I am observing.
Yes.
Okay.
So I may be observing maybe presently at the level of expectation, then
Huh.
thought, then desire. I may try to observe the harmony. Okay. I may even try to observe the submergence, even today, each one of us.
Got it, got it.
But my competence is not developed to that level.
Level. Correct, correct.
Yeah.
And one more doubt I have, Bhaiya, if no, the I am coexistence of self and body. What took me for 35 years to know this reality?
Yeah. Now what happens now that I'm not aware. Okay. But I have to live. So I keep on dealing with the reality with my level of competence. I keep on dealing with it. Now just do one thing. You try to observe submergence.
Okay,
Let's say
Bhaiya.
today you try to say that okay, now henceforth I'm going to directly observe the submergence.
Hmm.
Okay, and then you will see many other things are coming to your imagination. I have to take care of this, that, and many sanskars would be pulling you down. This is fine, but what will happen to this sensation? What will happen to my current relationships? What will happen to my body? What will happen to my income, to my future, to my past? Okay, to my status in society. So many things may come up, for example. So you can see that when I try to observe directly the realization or from the higher level activity, my so many sanskars are pulling me down. While we are studying the Yoga Darshan, we'll see how many ways I get caught up. People have studied quite deeply. In the Yoga Darshan, they have explained what all catches me. So they have called as how many vikars could be there, how many klesh could be there, what are the various bondages that I am into. So people have tried to also study what are the various sanskars which bind me and I'm not able to cut across to see the reality as it is. People have tried to study. There are so many things. In fact, we are not going to all those details.
While seeing that coexistence with the level of submergence, it seems to be very easy. Just we need to understand material, conscious, space.
Yeah.
All material, one property, was same. Conscious is one, and space. That's it. Seems to be easy, but practicalities,
In fact, it's not practicality. It's priority.
priority. Correct,
Yeah.
correct, correct.
So the moment
Correct,
you
correct.
try to put it at the highest priority, other priorities start, like catching your attention. Okay, I have to publish paper by the end of this month. To hell with submergence.
Got it.
First of all, my paper has to be published. I have to pay my EMI. Somebody may think in those terms. Okay, this all will be taken care of. I have the whole life left for it. How about my EMI? I have to pay it by 21st of every month.
But yeah, now, maybe after this 35, at least, as you said, till that, the moment I have to survive and live. Animal consciousness is dominating now. At least this one reality, we are talking about the self and body. My one question is next bodily journey, if I take, will I be again start from the scratch, or this understanding will be there right from the day one? I mean, in that self continuously, that realization is there. So because these many years that understanding is not there with me, even now I'm not sure it is always there, every moment is there, but then how it's gonna be in my journey, that will also carry with me understanding how much I will the level understanding.
Yeah, so something that I have been able to accomplish here in block B1, that will continue.
Continue.
And the deep sanskars will not continue, but will have a lasting effect.
Effect. Okay, but this down part is not going to be traveled with me.
Which one?
This desire, thoughts, expectations, all.
Yeah. So they are basically guided by your sanskars. So the sanskars will continue
Okay,
for
got
a
it.
long time,
Mm-hmm.
unless evaluated or otherwise guided.
Huh.
Either you have to evaluate or something changes it. Your conditioning changes suddenly.
Okay, okay.
So maybe you are so-called extrovert, as we studied in the psychology. Okay. But for example, somebody got cheated in relationship, and somebody suddenly stopped interacting with people.
With people, correct.
Nobody is trustworthy. I
Yes,
got
yes.
cheated. Now I have some sanskar. I was extrovert. I suddenly become introvert.
Okay, okay.
That possibility is there.
Jeevan.
I was helping people a lot, right? But somebody whom I helped so sincerely cheated me. Now I stopped helping anyone. So these kind of shifts are possible. Unless you have the clarity, this kind of toppling of your conduct completely upside down could be possible.
Very true. That one experience, not trusting anybody.
Yes.
As a whole conclusion.
So that could be there. So that possibility is there. Even now, things are happening like that. So you'll see that in the Indian tradition, people have tried to look at sanskar in such a depth. In fact, it is said that when Buddha came to his enlightened state, he could remember his past 500 lives. In 500 lives, what he did, what he was. And there's a whole story. It is called Bodhisattva story. Bodhisattva. There are 500 stories. Okay. So when he was an elephant, when he was a human being, what all he was doing, they're all in the form of stories. If you look at the Buddhist tradition, these are taught in schools also. So he could remember all that. And he could remember that he was very benevolent, very compassionate. Like, for example, the story in which he says that he was an elephant. in a forest, and then the forest caught fire. So he was running away from the fire, but he found that one rabbit came under his feet. Okay, and the rabbit was assuming that this is some shade, it will save me from fire. So the rabbit was not moving. Okay, if he would have like put his feet on the earth, like this rabbit would have died. So he himself protected the rabbit and got himself burnt. This is one of the stories. Okay, so if that is taken as it is, maybe if we try to assume that yes, this is true, fine. So that is a kind of sanskar that he had already, and with that he started this exploration. So he had that feeling of compassion, that feeling of kindness, okay, to begin with, and with that he started. So see, this potential is there in each one of us, but we are not able to observe from understanding. We are not able to observe from realization because several other things have caught hold of us, right? And we are not able to overcome that. Yes. Any other question? Yes.
Sir, I have one question.
Ji.
So UHV teaches to be happy always.
I'm not saying. So I am a co-explorer.
Say for example, we are listening to your lecture, so we are happy. So when we go out, then our happiness will come down.
Yes, it may be the case with me also. But anyway, we are all co-explorers. It's only that I started exploring earlier. So I might be having clarity, maybe to somewhat more extent, right? You are starting to have that clarity. That is all. So we are still working for ensuring the right understanding within. Nice, Didi.
Okay, when you were talking about, when she was asking about whether my sanskar will come with me or whatever exploration I have done and level of understanding, will that come along with me if I am going to be moving on to a different body or something? Now, I suddenly had a doubt. Population is increasing. So the new self, from where is it coming?
So it is not the new self. The self is continuous.
Yes.
So either the self is with the body or without the body.
Okay. So it would be existing even without the body. As the
course.
number of bodies increase, it gets acquainted.
And there could be a larger population of self without the body.
Oh, that is also possible. Yeah.
Not every self might be there with the body, no. So many people think that, for example, many people think that if I commit suicide, my miseries are gone. But after committing suicide, there's a new population waiting for you to keep you unhappy. So suicide is no solution, right? The only solution is this. In fact, if you are able to explain this to the child, right, that see the self is continuous. So by leaving the body, your miseries are not gone. In fact, it could add to your misery because you try to escape from the problems and that added to your lack of confidence. That lack of confidence is going to persist in you, right? So the way people are trying to dominate over you right now, okay, that domination may continue even without the body. And you do not have any body to take the proposal and explore. So be with the body better and try to explore and work out the solution. Isn't it?
Sir, can you explain about the B1 block again, sir? Contemplation, especially contemplation.
Contemplation means to be able to see the relationship, the participation in the larger order.
All levels.
At all levels, yeah. So in my relationship with human being, in my relation with the rest of nature, at all levels. Yeah.
So that should come with the really complete and right understanding only, right understanding. And
so when we are going from this bottom to top, okay, then I am trying to look into the relationship, okay, but conditionings are continuing. When the realization is ensured, then all the conditionings which are otherwise get evaluated one by one, and then my contemplation becomes complete. Before that, at the level of desire, I may have wrong sanskars. Okay. So I'm trying to contemplate on the relationship, but it is not complete so long as realization is not ensured. Completeness will come with realization.
So purifying the sanskar by observing ourselves is the way of
Purifying the sanskar would require one, observing the acceptances within, then observing the natural acceptance for relationship, harmony, and coexistence, and then trying to relate the two so that one gets evaluated. This present sanskars get evaluated. So, for example, when I'm observing my feeling, I'm looking into my sanskar. I'm also looking my natural acceptance, and then I'm ensuring that my every decision is guided by natural acceptance. So these three things. So that kind of effort is required. Yes.
Bhaiya, I have one doubt. And if self is continuous, we would have acquired some sort of sanskar and self realization in this birth. And when I leave my body, does my self have has those thoughts, or it does it contain memories, so that in while taking the next body, is it going to continue with the previous sanskar?
See, your activity at the level of expectation is largely in coexistence with the body. So you may not remember names and faces, for example. Okay. But the thought patterns might continue.
Oh.
The thought pattern.
Thought patterns will persist.
Yeah. And the sanskar will still persist.
Okay.
And the right understanding that you ensure will continue forever.
What is the proof?
Yeah. Now, how, in fact, yes, in fact, we are going to talk about the proofs today. Okay, what kinds of proofs are required or could be valid? So there are 6 kinds of valid proofs which have been accepted in the Indian tradition.
Okay.
Now you just observe right now. So how do we come to understand this? So one thing is just observe right now. So you can see you are forgetting names. For example, there are so many people sitting here. During the workshop, you might remember the name of everyone. Just after 3 months, if you're not in touch, you might forget the name. Why? Because this is something at the level of expectation. The memory of name is at the level of expectation. The memory of faces will last longer. Why? Because you are hearing the name only once or twice during the workshop, but you are observing the face many times. I may not remember names of each one of you, but I can remember that yes, you were there in the previous workshop. So that memory of face is there because I am observing your face consistently. Now, something that is going on in me at my level of thought, that is not dependent on this presence of yourself in the room. So that may continue for a long time. Now, my sanskars, what I assume about myself, what I assumed about my relation, and what I assume about an institution, that will continue longer. It depends again whether the evaluation has taken place or not. If the evaluation takes place, for example, many times when we are conducting workshop in the jails, we could see that many criminals were there who were quite lamenting about what they have done. It was just out of some rage of anger at that heat of moment. Somebody murdered someone just because he got irritated or got angry or somebody provoked him, right? But he's totally lying to feel bad about it. Pardon? You take a mic. I'm not able to listen. Yes. And we are all prisoners of our sanskars. There is no difference between a prisoner in the jail and ourselves. We are all prisoners of our sanskars. In fact, this is truth. So we are all imprisoned by our own acceptances. Yes, we have conducted workshop in the jails of Bilaspur in Chhattisgarh, then in Kanpur, presently in Ghaziabad also, and now one initiative is being taken in Punjab also. Few jails have been selected. And in Kerala also now this is being attempted. Priya Didi is there, no? She is trying to introduce workshops in jails. So another extension activity that is coming up with the UHV is conducting or transforming the jail inmates. In fact, we can take it up here also. As an extension activity in Chennai, we can start conducting sessions for the prisoners. Somebody may take that kind of initiative.
So,
Yeah.
so the ultimate level leads to space. which is equivalent to shunya. So shunya means nothing, right?
No, no. Shunya means space, not nothing. Shunya
According
means
to-
no activity, but not nothing.
So
It is a reality.
is this the ultimate level?
Yeah. So realization means seeing myself submerged in space and seeing the whole nature submerged in space. So space is there. I am not able to see the space presently. But when I start observing, I can see the space. The way I can observe the self, I may not be able to observe it right now, but I can observe the self. In a similar manner, I can observe the space, though I am not able to observe it right now. It only that I have to make my observation more and more subtle. We are observing presently at a very gross level. You know? Only material things, they are also only the form and property of the material things, right? But gradually you have to see the consciousness, we have to see the innateness, we have to see the natural characteristic, and then we have to see the submergence also. So we have to make our observation more and more subtle. And this is what we're trying to work for. Fine.
Bhaiya, if there is a freedom, the participation factor is maximum. The freedom should be given by others, or I, with the right understanding, I should make the situation that I have got the freedom so that I will make my participation in the larger order. By I am finding that if I am following my passion, I could find the participation order will be high with some freedom. So the with right understanding, I am thinking so somebody else should not give the freedom. I should find that freedom. It should be from my hands, right? Bhaiya?
Yeah. So basically, you will see gradually that you are bonded by your own acceptances. Okay. You are basically free, but you are assuming that you are bonded.
Okay.
Why? Because you have accepted something otherwise.
Accepted. Okay. Bhaiya.
Yeah.
Okay. Bhaiya,
Take a mic. Say that. Yeah. That could be quite pertinent. Yes.
We are bonded with relationship. So we want to maintain that relationship. For that, like we feel that like we are don't have freedom. We are expecting freedom from others. Freedom is within us only. Like if the relationship is supporting us, like then we feel that we have freedom. My family is given freedom, my husband is given freedom. It's not like that. Like freedom is within me only, but it's me deciding like if I want to give more importance for others who are in my family, I'm just giving excuse for my freedom.
Yeah. In fact, this has been a long debate in the West also. You'll see that we discussed free will. Earlier, we were discussing structuralism and all those. No, we discussed free will. So there is a common belief that there is no free will, right? But we can see here very much that I have that natural acceptance. And in fact, with the humanistic psychology, this became more prominent that humans have a free will because they always have that natural acceptance. Somewhat they are trying to indicate that human being is having natural acceptance. It's not like just like a billiard ball that it is only going to be determined by the events outside. No, the human being does have a free will. The human being does have that freedom. So if you observe within, you can see very much that you have this natural acceptance and you can be guided from there. Even when I'm fulfilling the relationship in my family, it's not that I'm bounded by that relationship. No, I am bounded by my sanskars while fulfilling the relationship. I can fulfill the same relationship with right understanding and right feeling. When I'm saying that this is my child and I have to take care, I may be having wrong assumption. This is a human being. His or her body has come through my body. That's all. I have to fulfill my relationship towards the body as well as the self. And those who have not come through my body are also my relatives. They also are a self and body coexisting together. And I have a responsibility there also. If I decide my program with this understanding, my child would be nurtured better because the child will also be able to contemplate upon love. Many times we feel that I'm affectionate towards my child, but it's not that. I'm attached to the child. Having affection and having attachment are two different things. Attachment is a bondage, right? Affection is liberation. I'm able to see the relationship of self and self. So it's not that when I'm fulfilling the relationship with my family members, I am bonded. No. It's my own conditioning that are binding me. Otherwise, I can be liberated while fulfilling the relation in the family also. Very much possible. Yes, nice. Any other question? Ji, take a mic.
Exploration should happen, or some changes should happen in one's life. They should go through the tough part, then the exploration will be high, or what? Yeah, because you're telling for in prisoners also we are conducting, so that by the time they will realize better, is it so, or they don't have any other participation with the family or with the society, or with that position they can realize or explore more. Because in some cases, for my some proposal in my case, if I am in tough situation, my exploration is better, so I am finding situation. If not, I could have say I have spent my 30 years just like that. After that I could understand. So we need to be in a tough situation, then that realization will be good, or what?
In fact, it's nothing like that. So
Nothing.
it so happens.
It's
Yeah.
now it
I
become
may
a
be
practice.
motivated
Uh,
by my inquisitiveness about existence. I may also be motivated by my pains in the life.
okay.
It depends again on my sanskars. In fact, there is again famous story about Buddha
Mm.
that at one point of time he decided to leave his palace and go to the forest and meditate. So the person who was his chariot driver, he said, "What is wrong with you? You have such a beautiful palace. You are going to be the king of this kingdom. You have such a beautiful wife and a nice child. What is the problem in your life? Everything is fine." Okay. So he says that you are not able to see the fire in this state of life, and I am able to see the fire. So I'm running, and I am trying to escape that fire. So now for the people around, they may feel that he has a very comfortable life, lot of wealth, and a good wife, good child, going to be king of a kingdom, and he is saying that I am completely in misery because I do not have answers to my questions, isn't it? So I can try to observe the reality, and I did not pass through any very grave and difficult situation in my life. So it depends all again on my sanskar. So if I have that inquisitiveness in me, I want to see who I am, right? So whatever be the facilities around, they're fine, but I'm not able to see who I am. That kind of inquiry could be there in me, and that inquiry can drive me into some deep exploration. We are doing that essentially. This is what you are. In fact, there's a story about Vivekananda that he was trying to find out the truth. So he went to one person in his city and knocked at his door. Then he was asked to come inside, and then the person inside said that your eyes are so beautiful, you can be a very good student. Then he says goodbye, no longer I require your guidance. Then he went to some other person. He knocked at the door, right? From inside, somebody says, "Who is there?" Then he says that Vivekananda says that this is what I want to find out. Then the good person says, "Now come inside. You are the right person." So he was Ramkrishna Paramhans. Vivekananda just told him that when Ramkrishna Paramhans asked him, "Who is there?" He said, "This is what I have come to find." So he said that yes, you have the right question now. You can come inside. So it depends on our level of inquiry, isn't it? See, we are taking many things for granted. Okay, this is there. Why to think about it? It may lead to other problems in life. So maybe we are living by conduciveness in our life. Okay, I have a nice family. People are taking care of me. I have all the facilities in my life. It is a fulfilling life. It is a happy life. Somebody may say that given all this, I'm not clear what I am. What to do with all this? I need to be clear what I am. I need to be clear what this existence is. So it depends on our sanskar, to what level I am trying to observe. Am I only living at the level of expectation, tasting good, feeling good sensation and happy within, right? Fetching happiness from outside, or I am trying to ensure happiness through realization. isn't it? Nice. Any other question? So this is the full human potential, and our basic purpose is to attain the state of realization. And that essentially means to be able to see the whole existence as it is, without any preconditioning. Okay. Now, recapitulating what we discussed last time. So we discussed the 6 schools of psychology. So this is the full human potential that we are trying to explore. Now we looked at the Western psychology, what we also can call modern psychology. In fact, earlier it was called uh, the modern psychology, but we'll see that in the modern psychology also, again, two classes have been there. Like one is the traditional psychology where these 6 schools are there, and the positive psychology and humanistic are being called as modern psychology now. So there we could see that the 6 schools are there: structuralism, functionalism, psychodynamic, behaviorism, cognitive, and sociocultural. And we have the contributors here for each one of them. So we could see that structuralism basically uses the method of introspection to identify the basic elements or structures of psychological experiences. So you could see how the various sensations that we have from the body, how they are classified, how they are structured. What is the perception? What is the thought? What is the feeling? Isn't it? What is the sensation? That is the sensory experience. And they have tried to structure it. In functionalism, the scientists have tried to understand why animals and humans have developed the particular psychological aspects that they currently possess. So for the sake of survival or for the sake of continuing their generation, they have tried to fit themselves. So there is a fitness involved with this. So it was developed by James, and he was largely guided by Darwin. Then we have the psychodynamic analysis, where the contributors have been Freud, Jung, Adler, Erikson. So they focus on the role of unconscious thoughts, feelings, and memories of and our early childhood experiences in determining behavior. So you could see that this Sigmund Freud wrote a book on dreams, analysis of dreams. So they try to study the dreams. They try to study the unconscious mind, the unconscious thoughts, and how the thoughts guide our behavior, our work, our living pattern. Then in behaviorism, they have based on the premise that it is not possible to objectively study the mind, and therefore that psychologists should limit their attention to the study of behavior itself. So till here, they are trying to look at the internal process. Structuralism, functionalism, psychodynamic, if you see, they are trying to look at the internal process. Now, these people, Watson and Skinner, said that this is completely abstract and subjective. Nobody can talk about all these things in a very concrete manner. So look at the external reality. So look at the external factors and how it influences. So the conditioning came here. Then the cognitive part, if you see, so they are trying to look at the mental process, including perception, thinking, memory, and judgments. And largely they are trying to study the brain, the activities in the brain under different circumstances. And by studying the brain, they are trying to determine the behavior or the conduct of a person. Then if you look at the socio-cultural, how the social situations and the cultures in which the people find themselves influence thinking and behavior. So how we get conditioned by the society, the norms, okay, the prevalent culture, the living pattern, right? So they have tried to study. So these are various approaches that people have taken, right? So this we can see that this is something where they have tried to see the internal process. There they have tried to see the behavior, work, and participation. Here they are trying to study the brain, which is a part of the body. And here they are trying to study how society influences a human being, right? So there are various ways of looking at it, the human conduct, how the conduct is determined. And then there are 6 perspectives here. So all those are taken care of. Only the new perspective that got evolved after 1950s, let's say, mostly by Rogers and Maslow, that is the humanistic perspective. So they said that human being does have a free will, okay, and we have to study it. So this is something that we have to do as an assignment. Now we'll study the positive psychology. So any comments or any reflection on this? So it is fine. Any question or any reflection on this?
Bhaiya,
Ji.
since we are talking about thing and also psychology, and also ma'am asked about self calibration. One through one workshop. Now it is in a market that headband something they are fixing it, and they are studying our brain waves. Like they have asked us to sit for 20 minutes by keeping that band on the head. Then through the app, they showed how was my feeling for the 20 minutes, whether my mind is calm or not settled. I am thinking about that through the waves they were seeing. So by contemplating on this, I can able to calibrate myself. Is it related to myself or what?
See, basically, it so happens, no, that whatever is going on in the self influences the body,
Okay.
particularly the brain. So, if I am happy within, okay, there would be one state of the brain. If I'm unhappy, I'm anxious, I'm having stress, it will have another kind of influence on the brain. It could be from the outside also. So, if you have some kind of state of the brain, it can also trigger some kind of feeling or thought in you. That is quite possible, right? So, for example, if the AC is turned off and we all are perspiring here, okay, sweating here, we'll get anxious faster, irritated faster. It is quite possible. For example, if the AC is running properly, light and fan is everything working properly, you can be in a more comfortable state. If everything is switched off and you are sweating all the time, if anyone says something or asks something, right? How about your family? They'll just say that first take care of this. I am finding very difficult to continue sitting here. You're talking about family, you're talking about research, and I'll leave it aside. So we can get influenced by the state of the body also, right? So when people are trying to study the brain, mostly they are not aware largely of the existence of self. So through the brain, they are trying to articulate something, but it can never be complete. If I am having the right understanding, whatever the state of my body, I will always be relaxed. I will always be comfortable. So if you try to read through some instrument what is going on in my brain, okay, it will not give a different kind of reading. That is quite possible.
They prove like through meditation it is possible, so that you do meditation. For that extent, I got that, and then
Yeah.
I understood that way. So meditation helping me to settle my activities of my brain, like that I took that context. Is it okay?
Yeah. See, when you talk about calibration, no. So I'll suggest one way that occurred to me just now. What do we do in calibration? We remove all the errors. We set zero error, right? On the scale, the static error and the dynamic error, we set it at zero. Okay. When is it going to be possible? With realization. So this is the zero error state. Isn't it? Now, as you remove this and then try to come down, there are errors taking place. So that is the zero error state. Now from here you can make out, this is the state of continuity, the state of super bliss. This is your natural state. Now from here you can make out, if I'm not having understanding of nature, okay, then what could be the possible errors in my conduct? If I'm not having contemplation of relationship, what will be the possible errors in my relationships? Right? All that we can make out. So if you look at the zero error state, it is here. So from there you can come down and see. In fact, we can develop matrices also for that. If one is largely operating at the level of expectation, what would be the observable behavior? If one is largely operating at the level of thought, what is the observable behavior? If one is largely operating at the level of feeling, then if one is largely operating at the level of understanding, and if one is operating at the level of realization with full human potential, what would be the conduct?
No human is 100% perfect or 100% error free. And we have error. That is why we are.
How do we know?
How we are perfect? How can we say that we are
Not
perfect?
we, but there could be a person who has attained the state of realization. Quite
What's
possible.
our expectation through UHV? Whether to attain 80% perfect or 90% perfect or 100%?
100%. See, if you look at the level of expression, there is no perfection. For example, if I'm speaking, okay, so this is something that includes my skill also. But at the level of understanding, okay, we can be 100%, quite possible. If I am able to see the whole existence as it is, I can see the whole nature submerged in space. That is 100%, quite possible. It's only that we are not able to attain that level presently.
If the error is more, Bhaiya, as ma'am said, that way I am also thinking. If error is more, what part I should work so that I can reduce the error? Like
Okay, yeah.
through
So in place of focusing on error, you focus on harmony,
harmony. Okay.
the solution. You have a solution centric approach. For example, if you are getting irritated and then shouting outside to people, now one may try to use some measure. Whenever I have to shout, I remind to myself, I do not have to shout, I do not have to shout. This will not work. Better, I have to look at the root cause. Why I am shouting? Because I am getting irritated. Why I am getting irritated? Because I do not have trust on the other person, right? Why I am not having trust on the other person? Because I am not able to see the intention of the other. So I have to see the intention of the other first and then evaluate the competence. If I do this, my irritation is gone. Then I'm no longer shouting, isn't it? For example, if a plant is drying, okay, one approach could be I'm polishing the dried leaves. The leaves are getting brown, I'm making them green. Will this work? No. I have to water the roots. If I water the roots, the plant will naturally become green. So what we have to do, we have to work here. These are the roots of my happiness. If I work here, everything will naturally come up. If I'm not working here, I will keep on learning tacts and skills. So one person might see that people are having very soft and this polished behavior, but within they are unhappy. That could be the case. Within they are irritated, unhappy, anxious, but outwardly, they are having very polished behavior. But this will not work.
By this analogy, I could able to connect with the incident which happened today morning. Like what you said, the plant, that water is basic, Baya, that we are putting some minerals also, no? Like that, what I can relate, water is basic. That is our UHV content is like water. That right understanding is the water. Some minerals also we are adding it to nurture. What may be the minerals in our discussion so that I can work on it.
So basically, you have that potential inside.
Okay,
That
potential.
self-exploration.
Oh, self-exploration towards the right understanding, right feeling, everything. Okay.
So getting the proposal from outside could be the water from outside.
Okay.
The mineral is there inside you.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Isn't it? And through self-exploration, you are enriching yourself. Nice. Fine. So if you want to calibrate, this would be the zero error state. And from here, we can, in fact, we can look into all this. If a person is able to contemplate upon trust, what would be the visible characteristics in his behavior? If one is able to see that the other is like me, what would the visible characteristics in his behavior? So when you talk about the feelings, no, for example, with trust comes complementariness. So if I am having the feeling of trust within, I can relate to people, I can work with people, I can empathize with the people. Now outwardly, people can see your empathy for the people. They can see your teamwork. At the base, the feeling of trust is working. Similarly, if I am able to see that the other is like me, okay, then they can see your transparency in your behavior. If you are having affection within, people can see your commitment in relationship. So these all, if you look at these 9 values in relationship, these are established values. With every established value, there is a expressed value. So people can see your expression. People can see your expression. And we can have matrices to evaluate your expression. In any relationship, whatever be the behavior of the other, how soon you have the thought of dropping that relationship. For example, if somebody is not behaving properly with you, and within yourself, you just have an idea, let me drop this relation, this person is not going to improve. If you have that idea, you are lacking that feeling of affection. With affection comes commitment. If I have the commitment in my relationship, I will never even have a thought of dropping any relationship. Every time I'll try to mend that relationship. Every time I'll try to transform the other person. So one can just observe how many times in a month I had the idea of dropping my spouse, getting irritated. Isn't it? So if that is there, then the affection is lacking. How many times I got irritated? I can make a list for myself, isn't it? How many times I had to hide something from my relative in the family, or could I be transparent with my relative in the family? Right? All these things we can make matrices. In fact, we can do this at a personal level, and this may help you make a kind of suitable matrix for the society also. So this will evaluate our feeling of trust, our feeling of respect, our feeling of affection.
Baya, since you were talking about spouse, Baya, one of my friend was asking me, that friend also me only, I am telling you like a friend. Because every time I'm telling about my own thing, the 30 years, 35 years, they lived happily with their parents. After getting married, why we are finding many incompleteness in them? 35 years, they are brought up their kid nicely, but once they getting married, we are telling why you wouldn't learn this thing from your childhood, you wouldn't face that or what, some basic thing. But but they have spent much of the years, right? 35 nicely, their parents and all will not accept if we find any mistake on them. So why it is like they are also okay. So so my competency is lacking or what, Bhaiya?
Yeah, so few things here. One thing is that your expectations are going up.
Okay.
Earlier did not have those kinds of expectations.
Okay.
The responsibility has also gone up.
So yeah, so the responsibility that we should accept that, of course, year by year we should be responsible for many things. Accordingly, we should improve our competence also. But
Yeah.
we are improving, but some people are lacking, like improving their competence. They are thinking we don't want, let it be. I am like that in a workplace or some other place also.
Yeah. So
If
I have to see for myself, do I have the feeling or thought of developing the competence of the other when the other is showing lack of competence, or do I have complaints for the other? So am I complaining or am I complimenting in my thoughts? If I'm complaining, I'm having that lack of feeling. If I'm complimenting, then I'm having that feeling. So within me, I can observe whether at this point of time I'm complaining within, or I'm trying to find a solution for the problem so that I can compliment the other. In fact, there could be a possibility that every moment in every relationship, you are always having the thought of complimenting the other, developing the right understanding in the other, in place of complaining about the other. When I'm able to see very naturally that unless one has reached the state of realization, there would be indefiniteness in conduct for sure. Okay, so why to complain? Complaining, you know to whom.
No, I just wanted to ask her one more thing on based on what she was telling. She told that I am improving, they are not improving. So always we feel we are improving. Is it a fact? Isn't it from the day we got married till now, they haven't changed anything for our request or this thing. So if we start looking at that level, I don't think that we would tell it as a complaint.
Now, there also, it may be the case that you are improving, the other is not improving. But with that also, whether I'm complaining within or I'm trying to work out ways to complement the other, isn't it? Similarly, it may be the case that earlier my sense of relationship was limited to only few people in the family. Once I'm able to see the relationship of self and self, okay, I'm able to see the relation outside the family also. So earlier, our imagination was limited to only few relationships. Now my imagination gets stretched to every human being. So my complaints will come down the other way also. Nice. So these are the 6 schools of psychology, and these are the 6 perspectives that we discussed earlier. and we have to make this matrix and then evaluate this, and we'll talk about this after lunch. Now with all this, we can talk about the positive psychology, which is a recent development. So positive psychology is a branch of psychology that focuses on understanding and promoting the positive aspects of human life, such as happiness, well-being, strengths, virtues, and fulfillment, rather than only treating mental illness or dysfunction. So earlier, if you see, in the 6 schools that we studied, people were largely trying to look at the abnormalities or the dysfunction, the way the definiteness of conduct is not ensured. So this was a major shift. In fact, the president of American Society for Psychology, he decided that why only look for problems or abnormalities? Why not shift our attention to fulfilling life, a happy life, right? He is Seligman, and then this school started, Martin Seligman. So it was formally introduced in the late 1990s by psychologist Martin Seligman, who emphasized the need to study not just what is wrong with people, but also what makes life worth living. So that is a very good shift. In fact, with this, you can study multiple developments in psychology in the past 30 years, right? So the key points are shift from illness to wellness. So earlier, if you see like the psychodynamic, or this behavioral, they were all mostly talking about the illness, how we pick wrong trends, wrong habits, wrong attitudes, wrong feelings, right? Now they are taking a shift from illness to wellness. What is a wellness in life? What is a well-being of life? So traditional psychology largely focused on mental illness and dysfunction. Positive psychology emphasizes strengths, growth, and flourishing. So how to work on one's inner strengths? Life satisfaction and subjective well-being. Encourages practices like gratitude, mindfulness, and savoring. So in fact, no, presently also like this happiness, they are also saying that when you talk about only happiness, it could not be continuity of happiness. It could be momentary happiness. So the word they generally use is subjective well-being, which can vary from person to person. But ultimately, it is about well-being. Encourages practices like gratitude, mindfulness, and savoring. Then there is a PERMA model given by Seligman, PERMA model of well-being. So basically, they have made the issue as well-being. Okay. There is another term that is used is called sustained happiness, right? Sustained model of happiness. So there are 5 elements here. Positive emotions. So P stands for positive emotions. E stands for engagement. So a flow state, a deep involvement. Then R stands for relationships, our social connections, love, support, affection. M stands for meaning, the purpose in life, the values, contributing to something larger. Then accomplishment, the achievement, the mastery, the success achieved in life. So for this subjective well-being or this model of well-being, these 5 elements have been taken into account. Now we can try to relate to all this. So the positive emotions are the right feelings. So am I able to contemplate on the right feelings? Engagement, a deep involvement. Now, like for example, if you are deeply involved in some project, some activity, some research, that also keeps you fulfilled. So that is also one way of keeping yourself engaged. So at the level of thought, you are mostly engaged in something very particular. So for example, somebody is trying to invent some instrument. Somebody is trying to discover some law of science. Somebody is trying to make a very good painting. somebody is writing a book with deep engagement. Okay, so that will ensure well-being to a large extent. The relationships in your family, whether relations are toxic or the relationship are fulfilling. The love and support that you get from your close connections, from the society, the recognition that you get from the society. Then whether you are having some meaning in life, so you are doing something, but is it adding to some value in your life, or it is just going like nowhere? Is it leading somewhere? Are you able to look at the track of your life? Are you able to make out the meaning of your life? And what you have gained in this life? For example, one person was sharing in a workshop that he met his uncle who was quite old, and his uncle had a very flourishing business. He had uh, sons which can be called as successful, right? And then he lived his life in the eyes of the society very well. So this person asked him that, what is your takeaway from your life? Right? Then he very sadly said that, koi kisi ka nahi hota. Nobody is yours. Now, if you look at the purpose being met, and you are not able to trust anyone, you are not able to have the affection of anyone. You are assuming that everybody is trying to just make money out of you. They are using you. Then will you feel happy inside or not? Every time you go to sleep, you have that thought that ultimately I do not have any relative on this planet. Everybody is around me only for money, only for some motives. Okay. So that will not give you happiness. Similarly, contributing to something larger. There was one this on 20th of March. It is called the International Day of Happiness. So we are having one event in Bhopal on that International Day of Happiness, and one person in a panel was sharing one experiment. So that said that, in fact, I'm not aware of the name of the scientist who that did that experiment. So he gave one set of people time to enjoy. So they had 15 days of time, and they were asked to just enjoy by eating, by listening to music, dancing, and merrymaking, all those things, right? And there was one set of people who were asked to participate in the larger order by going to orphanage or old age homes. So now the feedback was taken just after the visit. So people who did merrymaking gave a very good feedback. We really enjoyed these 15 days. It was just like heaven on this planet, right? It was so enjoyable, and a lasting memory would be there. Then they were interviewed 2 months later, and they had lost that feeling of happiness because all that joy and merrymaking had gone. But people who were sent to the orphanage or the old age homes or to do something for the well-being of society, they were feeling much fulfilled 2 months later. So they said that when you are contributing to the larger order, okay, it has sustained happiness. So you'll see that many people who are in business also know after some time they would start contributing to the society. Right. For example, if you look at Bill Gates and this Bezos and all those people, they start donating money to people. So they get something out of it, that they are doing something for the larger order. They have made enough money, but what they have done which can make them happy inside. Then accomplishments. You have achieved something, maybe some post, some rank, some name, some fame. Okay. Yes, I could accomplish this in my life. I could publish a paper in Nature. Or I could get this recognition. I was selected as a young scientist, right? So for example, so these all things may cherish your memory in your life. So this is possible. Something like mastery or success. So he gave this PERMA model. So P, positive emotions, experiencing joy, gratitude, hope, love, inspiration, and other uplifting feelings. Then not just pleasure, but a lasting sense of happiness. So for example, practicing gratitude or savoring small moments. Savoring means that you are able to look into those moments and relish those moments. So they will say that don't ignore small things also in life. Somebody says hello to you, namaste to you in the morning, so savor that moment. somebody said thank you to you, so savor that moment. Then engagement, being fully absorbed in activities in a flow state where time seems to stop, using strengths to take on challenges that match one's skills. A musician lost in playing an instrument, or a student deeply involved in learning. Then relationships, building strong, supportive, and meaningful connection with others. Positive relationships provide love, intimacy, and a sense of belonging. Example, friendships, family ties, mentoring, teamwork. So how many people are there in your life whom you can count upon? You can share your issues, you can share your problems, you can share your feelings. If they are there, then you feel more related. There will be 5,000 connections on Facebook, but not a single person with whom you can share. You do not feel related. You are connected, but not related. Then meaning, belonging to and serving something bigger than oneself, a cause, faith, community, or purpose, helps people feel their lives matter beyond personal gain. For example, volunteering, spiritual practices, or working for a greater cause, some philanthropic activity, some social cause, something like that. Then accomplishment, pursuing success, mastery, and goals for their own sake, provides a sense of competence, pride, and fulfillment. Example, completing a project, achieving career goals, or learning a new skill. So the key point here is that the PERMA model suggests that well-being is multidimensional. True flourishing doesn't come from happiness alone, but from a balance of positive emotions, engagement, relationship, meaning, and accomplishment. By happiness, it is mean the momentary happiness by through sensations. Okay. So it is a nice accomplishment. I'll say that at least people in the West also have tried to see now that only focusing on sensual pleasures or focusing largely on sensual pleasures is not going to sustain their happiness. They have to look for a bigger cause, isn't it? Even though, yeah.
These kind of momentary happinesses that is body need. These are all integrated together so that we can get a continuous happiness.
Not exactly. I'm not saying that. So if you mean to say that if I stitch small moments of happiness through sensory pleasures, will it lead to continuous happiness? No. We could see that when I am getting some sensation from the body, it may appear necessary and tasteful in the beginning, but gradually it becomes intolerable.
But to maintain or to attain self's happiness, there is continuous happiness, which is required for the self, then the body should also be satisfied with all the needs which are.
Yeah, so fulfill the
required.
needs of the body. So it is not being denied. So this person is saying that having fulfilled the needs of the body over and above, you want this also. Over and above, you want this. So it's not saying that replace the needs of the body with all this. No. Okay, any question regarding this? So you can see a good shift when psychologists were mostly focusing on abnormalities. They are not talking about a fulfilling and a flourishing life. Okay, they are talking about relationship. They are talking about meaning in life. And after this, multiple papers have been published, multiple theories have come up. So there is something called SMH, Sustained Model of Happiness. I'm not going into all those details. So one lady propounded this theory, Sustained Model of Happiness. And then people are trying to work on that. So positive emotions broaden and build. So Fredrickson's broaden and build theory says positive emotions expand our thinking and help us build lasting resources, the social, intellectual, and emotional resources. Resilience and coping focuses on how people bounce back from stress, trauma, and adversity, encourages optimism, hope, and adaptive coping strategies. Then flow and optimal experience. So this was introduced by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. Very difficult to pronounce. Flow is a state of total absorption and enjoyment in activity, leading to peak performance and satisfaction. Meaning and purpose. Well-being is not only about pleasure, but also about having a sense of purpose and contributing to something bigger than oneself. and then there is signs of flourishing. So positive psychology aims to help individuals, communities, and organizations not just fix problems but thrive and flourish. So we can have a look at this, right? We can also see the limitations of this. So let us explore this a bit. Let us try to look into what is being said here, how it applies to me. So for example, when I have positive emotions, I have less grudges, less complaints. Then I can think broadly about my relationships. If I'm grudging all the time, in a single relationship, I'm grudging all the time, right? So it is disturbing my health, my work efficiency, right? And also my happiness. But if I am having the life, feelings which are naturally acceptable to me, feeling of trust and respect, so I can relate better to people. I can plan big projects. I can plan my participation in the larger order. So in fact, if I am not having these emotions, then my social, intellectual, and emotional asset get reduced. I cannot relate to people in the society well. I can do intellectual work, and at an emotional level, I am always drained out. Now, with this kind of thing, I can also have resilience in my life. So whatever be the present state, I can bounce back. I can cope with them. For example, I appeared in some examination and I did not succeed. I may get depressed that I'm good for nothing. I may have suicidal thoughts and this life is worth nothing. Now this is having lack of resilience. But if you go by this model, right, then you can see a larger picture. If I did not succeed in this examination, so what? I still have the potential. I can still work out. And this examination is not a test of my potential also. I can utilize the potential better in many other ways. So this is an important aspect. In fact, when we are teaching UHV also, right, we can relate the feelings to empathy. We can relate the feelings to resilience. For example, when we are talking about purpose, program, and potential, talking about the feeling of respect. If I can see that every human being has the potential, so the resilience naturally comes. If I have the potential within, okay, so whatever be my current state of being, I can come out of that. That assurance is there in me that I have that potential. Everyone has that potential. There is no need to feel depressed. So with the right feeling, I can have this resilience. I can cope up with any situation. I can also see that it's not that the other is my enemy, and I do not struggle with the other. No, the other is my relative. I only have to think how to transform the other. Both. See, if you just feel like transforming yourself and the other is finding faults with you, you will get depressed more and more. Oh yes, I have these many deficiencies in me, these many shortcomings.
Participating only, my lot of problem is coming.
What?
While participating only, lot of things are coming. If it's working within me only, it's getting settled properly. But then the more I participate, more I wanting the other to change, and level of competence is different. I'm also not in that competence state to bring into my level. So in this state, dealing with different competence, mine is draining like anything.
Yeah, it so happens that maybe we have lack of competence right now. When I'm working in a team, when I'm participating in the larger order, that is somewhat getting surfaced out, getting expressed, getting exposed. So when I'm there with myself in my room, it is not getting exposed. So that is a good opportunity to expose myself to my lack of right understanding. So that's why we are saying that at one end you have to work for realization, at the other end we have to work for universal human order and human tradition. If I do not work for human tradition, I can assume that I am having the right understanding. There is one story about Shankaracharya that he took bath in the Ganges and then he was coming to his room one morning. Then suddenly he clashed with the person who is a scavenger, right? And then he got very angry. that I took bath just this morning and you made me dirty again. Can't you move a little away from me? Then the scavenger said that, who is you? You say that everybody is I. How come the difference between you and I? And he suddenly, got surprised that, yes, how could I not make out this difference that the same I is there as I am there? He is a scavenger by profession, but he's the same self. So it was a kind of enlightening moment for him. Now he could be sitting in his house and feeling that, yes, I have come to realize the whole world. I have the completeness of right understanding. The moment he collided with that person and the comment that came, it highlighted, it expressed his lack of understanding. So it is said that it was a turning point in his life. So when we are participating in the larger order, we come across several situations which expose us to our lack of right understanding. If you're not doing that, you can have a wishful thinking that, yes, the whole chart is clear to me. I can draw this chart any moment. I am having realization. Yeah.
And at the level of immediately I can able to understand what is missing. That information level, very clear. At least clear, not
Yeah.
very clear. Clear. But then it is not happening every moment.
Yeah, that is fine.
Practice. நான் போயிட்டு இருக்கேன் 4 வருஷமா. Two deep படிச்சாலே போதுமா.
Baya, actually proposal to proposal, Baya, from my experience of like exploring it need not to be both the side. Transformation should, if it is happening in my side itself, there is a harmony sometimes. So sometimes transformation should happen opposite person and also in me. Sometimes by exploration in me itself bringing harmony in some proposals.
Not getting. Say it again.
Like you said, no, by a transformation in both the sides should happen. By transforming myself for one proposal itself, the situation is bringing harmony.
Yes.
Like by self exploration, if I am fine
I'm not
tuning
saying transformation on both sides should happen. I'm saying transforming myself
myself
and
will reflect
complementing to transform the other. Both are
others.
required. If I do
Okay.
not complement the other in terms of transformation, and the other is simply finding faults in me,
Okay.
I may get depressed.
Okay.
So maybe you are having definiteness of conduct to a large extent, maybe
Okay.
90%,
Mm.
right? And the other person is harping just at 10%.
Okay.
You will feel depressed that still I'm not complete.
Okay.
But this conduct of the other person is not helping the other person to transform also.
Okay.
So I have to keep on working at both ends. I am
Both
working to
ends.
develop myself as well as I have to develop the society also. In fact, we'll see that when you are conducting a workshop, okay, while complementing the other, you are also developing.
Okay. Yes,
Otherwise,
Baya.
within yourself, you may think that, yes, I have come to understand everything.
Yes.
Fine. Any other question? Okay. So positive psychology aims to help individuals, communities, and organizations not just fix problems but thrive and flourish. So applications, if you see across life domains, in education, in workplace, in health, in everyday life. So building resilience, grit, and student engagement, employee well-being, job satisfaction, motivation, then using positive attitudes for better physical and mental health, gratitude journaling, strengths-based goal setting, mindfulness, all these can be attempted. So if you compare the traditional psychology that developed in the West and the positive psychology, we can look into all these issues. So the main focus in the traditional psychology has been mental illness, disorders, dysfunction. Here, the major concern has been the well-being, happiness, and flourishing. The approach earlier was problem-oriented, fixing what's wrong. Here, the strength-oriented, building what's right. Earlier, the goal was to relieve suffering, reduce symptoms. Here, the goal is to promote growth, resilience, fulfillment. Earlier, the view of human nature was as if humans are vulnerable, prone to pathology. They are just like billiard balls, okay, just hit by some factor outside and getting affected. Here, the approach is, the method is strength-based relationships, gratitude practices, optimizing training. Earlier, the key question was what's wrong with this person? How do we fix it? Now the question is what makes life worth living? How do people flourish? So there's a shift in the focus. Time orientation, if you see, in the past it was something to do with the past, the trauma, the causes of problems. Here the time orientation is towards the present and the future, meaning, purpose, goals. Earlier the measure of success was reduction of symptoms, normal functioning. Here it is well-being, happiness, engagement, life satisfaction. Now example of theories were Freud psychoanalysis or behaviorism or CBT. Here the cognitive based. Here the Seligman's PERMA model or the flow theory or the broaden and build theory. Applications, if you see, the treatment of mental illness, clinical settings. Here the application is education, workplace, community, development, personal growth. So we can see the shift between the traditional Western psychology and the modern Western psychology, right? And in the 21st century, we can see like people have started talking about happiness in a substantial manner. So Bhutan has this gross national happiness concept. And now we are developing indices of happiness across the world, right? They have their own matrices. At least people have started talking about happiness. Many universities have department for happiness or well-being. Even recently, IIT Kharagpur set up a department of well-being, something like that. Okay. MP government has started at Anand Mantralaya, the department to make people happy. So if you look at the 20th century, there was largely struggle for survival. People were suffering from poverty, from illness, this endemics and pandemics. Pardon? Wellness need, yes. So if you look at the previous century, the approach was largely problem centric, right? Now the people have started shifting towards relationship, towards happiness, towards sustained happiness.
Baya.
There's a new trend also in Scandinavian countries. They have started reducing the physical facilities. Like if you look at the countries like Finland, Netherlands. So in many countries, they have abundant cars, costly houses. They are trying to live close by the nature. They are doing mostly cycling. Okay. But they have their own hedonic way of living. They will be going for merrymaking, drinking, and all those things. But still, a large section of society is turning towards this way of life. Yeah.
I was just checking. Now we are into like a kind of materialistic connect. All this is going dominating within me. But once I go through it, I can understand it's nothing. Am I going through this process because to see it's nothing?
Yeah.
Actually, Bhaiya,
It
more
depends.
I explore because I have a mindset of world travel. I went like 10, 15 countries. Now I have not that carving of no going. So food connecting after having all the tasty and different varieties. Now I don't have. Am I going through the process just to see it's nothing? That is why this thing is coming.
So there could be multiple reasons behind it. In fact, this has been explored also. Okay. So for example, if you look at the practices developed by Osho, Rajneesh, so he will say that pass through all these pleasures and you will see that there is no meaning in it. But does it actually work? This is to be explored. Pardon? Yeah, it is a possibility that you get caught up. So what is basically required? What is basically required is your awareness. I not pass through that situation. I can pass through that situation in my imagination also. So for example, I am getting some very tasty food. What is happening? I can see some tasty food is coming to my tongue. It is going down to my stomach, getting digested, getting thrown out. What is the outcome?
But that is also happening. whenever I'm not able to get something, I have it in imagination that I'm having everything in imagination only. I got settling also.
Yes.
That is also there. Whenever there is
So
a
now that you are
chance.
through self-exploration, that is happening. Otherwise, we may get caught up in
Caught
those
up.
pleasures only.
Ah.
Even though it is appearing to be intolerable, I'm going for that same sensation again.
Again. Okay.
If you look at the sensual pleasures, every time you are able to see that it is getting intolerable after a certain duration of time.
Correct, correct.
But still, the craving for sensual pleasure is there because the alternative is not clear. So unless you work on that alternative, that craving is going to sustain because you do not have the better alternative. Isn't it? So if you talk to a drunkard, every time when he comes back to his senses, he will lament, he will say sorry. But again, by the evening, he has the same craving.
Bhaiya, when do we have craving for certain things? Only when we are not satisfied with what we have. Isn't it like
Yes.
the product which we go for? The urge to buy more, the urge to accumulate more. Like that, what she said, like, looking at the food which is very tasty, after tasting it, we just drop it. I feel like we are consuming food not only for taste, but also we have to look whether the food is going to nurture our body. When we have that understanding, I think probably we'll not be able to crave for food, isn't it?
Yeah, so the craving is there because the source of happiness essentially, if you see, is not inside.
Exactly, that's what I said.
Yeah. So even if I'm hungry, right, the body is hungry, I will not crave for food. I'll make a program for food, but that craving will not be there. Craving is there when I feel that if that is not given, okay, then I am going to be unhappy for sure. My survival is at risk.
I
Then only
feel like it is imbalance in emotion then.
Yes. So essentially, if you see, in fact, this is also something that we'll discuss while discussing Buddhism, that what they are saying is that craving is not my need, it's not required. Craving is the cause of suffering. It's not a desire that is cause of suffering. Many times people interpret that desire is the cause of suffering. No. What is being said there by Buddha is that craving is the cause of suffering. In Hindi, craving is Trishna and desire is Ichha. So they are not condemning Ichha, they are condemning Trishna. Yeah. Time for break. 5 more minutes now. This watch.
What I think is thought influences feeling. For example, we were talking about craving. If people are fasting, if I have this upavas, I won't be craving. Even if delicious food is right in front of me, I won't be craving because now my body is controlled by my thought, which is in this upavas mode. So according to me, thought is like something which is controlling my feelings.
I'll put it better. It's not thought, it's your acceptance. So for today, we accepted that you are on a fast. So we will not crave for food. Right? And the next day, the same desire could be there for food. So you accepted that today I do not have to take anything. If you are going on nirjala without water, you will not even crave for water, even though you are feeling thirsty, because you come to accept it. So it is something to do with the acceptance. With that acceptance is coming that thought. At a deeper level, you have accepted that today I do not have to take water, I do not have to take food. Right? But that source of craving is there. The next day, the very next day, if the food is not served on time, you may get angry, for example. But today, since you accepted that you are not going for food, so you're not saying anything.
But yeah, and there are few people like who leave things which they desire the most. Like there is this practice of going to Kashi and leaving the food which they desire the most for the ancestors. So if I am a person who loves Goa, I am supposed to leave Goa, and I should I should not think about having Goa ever after till my like the end of my life. So there is some practice like that. So what is happening here? Acceptance is happening here, which they can actually carry over in their life.
No, so what you said can have two different interpretations. So you are saying that this person had craving for guava, so even after death, people go and serve guava. Is that so?
Practice, right? We go to Kashi and we just we leave one particular thing which we crave for. for our ancestors who had passed away.
Okay. So this could be like, see, people have tried to develop some practices, some rituals to organize the society. So on this particular day, take an oath. So we'll say that, okay, it is a new year, take some oath. But it is just a kind of outwardly engagement, outwardly practice. It will not help you explore deeper. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, could work at times. But see, if the understanding is not ensured, it will not happen.
Because in previous days we
They
don't have
just truly
UHV.
know that we keep on sharing in the introductory workshop that a person was quite fond of drinking, right? So one day he drank a lot and then he fell in the by the roadside. So everybody was laughing at him. So the next day he took an oath that I'm not going to drink ever any moment, right? So after a few days he was coming from his college, going to his home. So on the way there was a liquor shop. Now as he was going home, the liquor shop was coming near. So this person reminded himself of the oath multiple times that today I'm not going to drink at all. I have taken oath. I'm going to go by this. And then he fulfilled it. Then when he had passed that road and he looked backside, he said that, yes, now the liquor shop is no longer visible. Yes, I have won. I'm victorious now. At this moment of enjoyment, let me have it again. Soumya Didi is here. We can introduce her. And how about SRM Ghaziabad? So, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Audible here.
Namaste, namaste. Huh? Yes, very sincere. Who? Sumanji. Yes, yes.
जी भैया, I'm there.
Ji, namaste.
नमस्ते भैया.
Soumya Didi, you can come.
So we have Soumya ji with us. She's she's taking care of whole regional coordination of Karnataka. And last minute call, since Rajul Bhai was not able to come here, we asked Soumya ji to join with us. Yesterday she took a bus for so long drive. Bus met with a middle accident. There also she shifted, no sleep, no food, but still she's here with us. Thank you, Soumya ji.
So it's my opportunity that, I'm able to spend 4 days with Kumar Bhaiya, Supriya Didi, Pradesh, and Miru Didi. Namaste. It's very nice. And a lot of people, you all remember me and you all spoke to me. That's very nice. We're able to see that. It's there with us. We don't need somebody's name or face, but we are having the feeling. And I think that's why, we're all here exploring, feeling good. And I think we have a responsibility also towards the society now. Very nice. Thank you very much.
UHV she came for this all.
Didi was planning to come for the first part also. She was planning to come for the first part also. It could not work out. Yeah. Yes. Naturally, yes, now. So it is time for lunch break.
Yeah.
So we break for lunch now and then we'll assemble again at 2 o'clock.
1:45.
1:45. Otherwise, Supraja Didi is going to be angry on us.
Thank you all. 1:45, let's assemble back. You can take a lunch and அந்த கூடாரத்துக்குள்ள சூடா இருந்தா கொஞ்சம் வெளியில எங்கயா ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க. We can have lunch.
So, Priya Didi, where is my lunch?
You can take it over there and send me the bill, Bhaiya. We'll reimburse. That's what I can. E-lunch.
I can feel that I am taking the lunch.
Nice.
Mahesh Bhaiya, namaste.
Namaste, Didi. Namaste.
And see, now we are providing e-lunch. Now it's up to you what you're going to do.
Yeah. I am accepting.
Nice. Very nice.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
Thank you.